Good afternoon, everyone. Bon après-midi, and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment hearings for Panel 1, covering the urban area of Ottawa. We are a City of Ottawa quasi-judicial tribunal that holds public hearings to consider Planning Act applications for minor variances and for consents to sever land. Our hearings are conducted in person, though the committee also facilitates remote participation by video conferencing when requested by registered speakers. We are live streaming on YouTube, and the video will be archived and available for future viewing by the public on the committee's website. My name is Arto Keklikian, and I'll be chairing today's hearings. With me are my fellow panel members, starting from my left to your right, Member Haskin, and on my right, your left, Member Lecuyer and Member Blatherwick. I'll just take a few minutes to summarize the procedure for today's hearings. There are 5 applications on the agenda for today's hearings. These are displayed on the screen. For the purpose of efficiency, the panel may deal with agenda items in a different order. Please note that the panel members have reviewed all materials related to the applications before us today, plus the reports by planning staff and any written submissions that are in support or in opposition to the applications. Today we will hear any oral submissions relating to the applications. As part of the statutory public notification requirements, each application is required to post a sign on the property in question before the hearing. Applicants are required to confirm in writing that they did so, or they'll need to swear or affirm an oath here today that they've fulfilled the sign posting requirements. Otherwise, we may have to adjourn or postpone the hearing application. The panel may ask for a brief presentation of an application. This may be followed by any oral submissions from city planning staff and then any questions from panel members. Members of the public will then have the opportunity to make oral presentations, starting with those members of the public on our speakers list. Panel members have the opportunity to pose questions. Finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make final comments or reply to all oral submissions or to any questions by panel members. Please address your comments to me as chair, starting with your name and spelling your name if necessary, as well as your municipal address for the record. Please note that all presentations are limited to 5 minutes, and any exceptions will be at the chair's discretion. At the end of the hearing of an application, the panel may either make an oral decision or may reserve its decision, meaning it wouldn't be delivered today. In either case, and within 10 days, committee will send the official written decision and reasons for it to all the parties, participants, and anyone else who has requested a copy of the decision. With that, does anyone have any questions about the procedure we will be following today? Seeing none, we'll get started. We have 5 applications on our agenda to hear today. And before we go on, we'll need to deal with some preliminaries. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest?
Yes, I have a conflict of interest with item number 525 Chapel. I've recently started working with one of the planners on file on a different property.
Thank you, Member Askin. And I declare a conflict with the same item number 5, as it is in my immediate neighborhood. And I've recused myself previously from this item. So Member Blatherwick will be taking over as chair for that item. I understand there are no minutes to be confirmed.
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So we'll start with item 1. There's one adjournment, and that's item 1, a request for adjournment. And it's 19 Herdman, and I believe the agent is D. Buckholz. Welcome. I wonder if you could just state your name and address, please, and turn on the microphone. Thank you. It's a button, yeah.
I see. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I am Dean Buckholz, 6431 Timothy Court, Orleans is my address.
Thank you.
And we accept the adjournment.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
Does everybody agree with the adjournment? Is there any opposition to the adjournment? If not, yeah, no, but there's no one to hold the adjournment. What's the length of time you need to resolve the issue?
We would say at least 2 weeks.
So the next meeting, the next hearing is the 22nd, I believe.
That would be acceptable.
It's, sorry, Mr. Chair.
Sorry.
November 19th.
19th, sorry. Is that doable?
Yes, that's doable.
Okay. So we'll put that on the agenda for November 19th. Do we vote on the adjournment? Okay. Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Mr. Chair, you have a
yes.
conflict on item 5, which is
Yeah.
also up for adjournment, so I can handle that.
Sure. Do you want to handle that now?
Yep.
Okay.
So we have a late request for item 5, 525 Chapel. And the agent, Mr. Silbert, is he there?
The applicant is online, Mr. Chair.
Hi, it's all right.
Silbert. I assume we had a late request from you regarding a further adjournment on this item.
Yeah, we're trying to clear the one condition from building code to make sure everything works. We provided drawings back to them on Monday with a couple of comments from the building code services, and I'd hope we'd have a review in by today. Fortunately, we don't. And I expect there's no issue, but I'd like to have it clear 100%, just given the reality of that if I can't go back and change the lot line location if we do have a conflict. So we'd like to have it cleared prior to proceeding forward with the hearing.
Okay. We have, our next hearing is the 19th of November, and the last hearing of the year is the 10th of December. Which would you like as a hearing date?
I'll say the 10th of December only just out of abundance of caution. I don't expect I'll have more than a couple of days before this is cleared, but just out of abundance of caution, I'll say December 10th before the end of the year.
Okay, and this adjournment is in regards to the limiting distance condition that the city wants?
Correct. Yeah, we provided documents. They wanted stamped by the architect. We had stamped, sent it back, was reviewed. They also had asked for one additional elevation, and so they haven't reviewed that. I think if it was just the stamp they were missing, I wouldn't be worried, but they had to not review the second elevation at the rear. So I'm waiting for a response on that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Silbert. Is there anyone online who would like to speak to this request for adjournment for 525 Chapel? No.
I had a quick question before I'm noting that 2 members were recusing themselves due to conflict. That leaves me with only a 2-member panel to hear the hearing. Is that correct, or are we missing a member that would possibly be at the December 10th hearing?
Right to address that, Mr. Chair. That would be correct if the application were heard today. There would be 2 members. Quorum is not lost due to a declaration of conflict of interest. However, the panel may be differently constituted when the item returns on December 10th with an additional member that normally attends panel 1 or possibly from another committee panel.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Then the 10th of December, Mr. Silbert.
Thanks.
Okay. All in favor of this adjournment until December the 10th for 525 Chapel. All right. Your item's adjourned until December the 10th. See you next month.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Member Vladwick. We'll deal with, there are two unopposed applications. It's 67 Springhurst and 32 Old Sunset. Does anyone wish to hold these unopposed applications? Seeing none. Are these, we can go ahead and approve these items if, yeah. So does the committee agree? Approve? Or is there anybody in the audience or online who wants to speak to this, to these two items?
No one online, Mr. Chair, has come forward. I recommend perhaps calling a vote for them one by one.
Okay. Mr. Jelkowski? And is the other agent here, right? Okay, yes. Did they, is there any, there's no presentation required?
There's no need for anyone to come forward if there's nothing to add, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So is it, are members in favor? Okay, all approved. So these two unopposed items are approved. We'll move on to number 4. That's 102 Putman. And then Dana Edwards is the agent. Is the agent online?
Yes, we're bringing them forward, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Greetings.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, thank you. Greetings, Ms. Edwards. I think we'll request a presentation if that's all right.
Yep, that's perfect.
So you have 5 minutes.
Perfect. Can I just share my screen or?
Committee staff will bring up the applicant's presentation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. There, we see it now.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, panel 1. My name is Dana Edwards, and I'm a planner with Q9 Planning and Design, and I'll be presenting the proposed minor variance application in support of the 10-unit low-rise apartment dwelling at 102 Putman. Next slide. The subject site is in the Linden Lee neighborhood on the south side of Putman Avenue on a block bounded by Champlain, Chapleau, and Beechwood Avenue to the south. The property is currently developed with a 2-story brick dwelling. Just a couple images of the subject site. The image on the left shows the subject dwelling, the 2-story brick dwelling at 102 Putman. On the right, you have the view looking east along Putman Avenue from the subject site. And then the view looking west along Putman Avenue from the subject site on the left. And the photo on the right shows the subject site across the street, or the properties across the street from the subject site. Here's a context map showing the surrounding neighborhood. The site's located within walking distance of Beechwood Avenue, Commercial Main Street, parks, transit, community centers, and schools. The site's currently designated neighborhood in the inner urban transect with an evolving overlay and is zoned R4UD in the City of Ottawa zoning bylaw.
Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt. The applicant can prompt next slide if they'd like us to move it forward.
Thank you. Yes, please, just if you could just request the next slide when you're ready, please. Thank you.
Okay. So the proposal is for a 10-unit low-rise apartment dwelling. A building permit has already been granted on this site for an 8-unit low-rise apartment dwelling. in the same exact form with the same site layout that is currently being proposed. Through the advanced planning stages, it was determined that an additional 2 units could be accommodated in the basement of the proposed building. As a result, a minor variance is required for lot width and area, as apartments with 9 units and greater have a greater width and area requirements than buildings with 8 units or fewer. No changes are being proposed to the site layout or any changes to the building form. 2 trees are to be removed and 3 are proposed to be planted, and no other variances are required. So here's an next slide, please. Here's an overview of the basement floor plan with the 2 new units that have been added. In the previously approved 8-unit plan, this area was storage. Next slide, please. So here is a site plan. So there's no changes from what has previously received a building permit. The proposal meets building setbacks, exceeds the landscape area requirements, exceeds bicycle requirements, and provides outdoor enclosed garbage area. Next slide, please. So the elevations show a 3-unit building that is 10.39 meters in height, which is less than what is required for an 8-unit building, which is 11 meters, and the 14.5 meter requirement for a 9-unit building. So the variances are to permit a low-rise apartment dwelling with 9 or more units on a lot width of 11.057 meters, whereas 15 meters is required, and a lot area of 360.74 meters square, where 450 meters square is required. So just to take you through the 4 tests, are the variances minor? The proposed built form is fully compliant with the performance standards of the zone. The increase is for the sole purpose of recognizing that the built form can accommodate 10 units at an appropriate unit breakdown, whereas the minimum 2-bedroom units is exceeded at the 40%. All building setbacks and requirements for landscaping are met. Do the variances meet the intent and purpose of the official plan? The proposed development provides intensification near amenities, supports a built form that is compatible and consistent with the development of the existing neighborhood. The proposal respects the existing patterns of the neighborhood character, building footprints, heights, massing, scale, and landscape character of the streetscape. Next slide, please. Do the variances meet the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw? The purpose is to limit units and to ensure that the site can be developed in a manner that supports units without compromising landscaping, the ability to provide waste storage and bicycle parking. The proposed development can accommodate 10 units and provide bike parking, exterior garbage, and still exceed the landscape unit area in both the front and rear yard. And are the variances suitable for the use of the land? The increase in units is supportable without compromising other aspects of the site or built form. The increase in bike parking over what is required reflects the site's location and proximity to amenities, transit, and active transportation routes. And the site is desirable and suitable for use for the development and use of the land. And just to go over comments received, Hydro Ottawa provided no concerns, standard comments. Planning staff provided no concerns. We received 2 letters of objection, one from the resident at 9 Chapleau Avenue, as well as from the owner of 104 Putman Street. The owners have been working with the owner of 104 Putman Street to address his concerns, which are primarily related to foundation and shoring issues. With respect to proactive community engagement, we, the applicant team, hand-delivered handwritten flyers to the adjacent and abutting neighbors, advising them of this proposal, as well as the plans were shared and a conversation was had with the Linden Lee Community Center. It is our opinion that the requested minor variance constitutes good land use planning, and I'm available for questions and comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Edwards. Are there any questions from the panel members? Yes, Member Lecuyer.
Yeah, just curious, you said it was in the late planning stage that this was discovered and that these 2 new units are going to be in the basement. What was initially going to be in the basement and what is being perhaps displaced or is having to be changed as a result?
Through the chair, it was planned to be storage, or they hadn't delineated the space as any form of, like, there was no units. It was typically, it's going to be storage. And then through kind of working through the site plan or the floor plans in more detail, that there was the availability to add 2 more units.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the panel? Okay, I don't see any. You mentioned there were 2 letters of opposition. Is there anyone in the audience or online who wants to speak to this item? Come on down.
Mr. Chair, just so you're aware, there is a speaker online as well.
Thank you. Yes, your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Stephen Fay, F-A-I, and my address is 33 Champlain Avenue. My property abuts the proposed development.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Well, I guess I just wanted to say that there's a reason that a bylaw is in place that limits the amount of units on a site, on a given site, given the site size. And in this case, it's significant, I believe, 100 square meters total area. The property is short, that much total area, 4 meters too narrow to accommodate this density. And frankly, I just feel it's egregious. Too much building, too many people in a very small space. I've lived in my house for 28 years. The maximum that I've lived behind us is a duplex. And again, I'm not opposed to densification, but I do think there should be a limit. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the panel? Thank you very much. The next speaker online is Esther Brooks. Yes, please go ahead. Like if you just give your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Sarah Jane Estabrooks. I live at 105 Putman Avenue, which is essentially directly across from the property we're discussing. I have 5 minutes. I'm not going to take it all. And I just wanted to run through my list of reasons why, so I'll just start. Sorry. 10 units. I agree with the gentleman ahead. Far too many. Directly next door is a 3-apartment unit. To the other side is a single family house. Directly across are 8 single family dwellings. When we create more places for more single tenancy units, it creates more transient dwellings and reduces the connection. And we have a very strong community here, and I would not like to see that removed. Key concern is when we reduce the setbacks, which are bylawed, it removes the ability to have trees. I would like to know what kind of trees you're planning on planting, but currently you could see from the photos, there were beautiful trees that we all enjoy currently on 102's property. When we reduce these setbacks, we don't have the ability to plant trees. There's no more shaded walks. I believe this is short-sighted and it only benefits the developers. That's very short-term and not the neighborhood long-term, nor the city as a whole. We moved here for a desirable community and maturity of the neighborhood. We are not against development, but we are against short-sighted development. Environmentally, the loss of trees creates hotspots. New builds have large windows that don't open, tiny ones that don't allow for a cross breeze, especially if you have 10 units. They end up pulling on our power grid for ACs to run well before anybody else who has trees needs to turn theirs on. Currently, Putman Ave has quite a few trees, including a gorgeous tree, as I said before, on 102. And that property also has, I can see it from my window as I speak to you, very large mature cedars. Again, reducing hotspots and creating privacy for those who live in the neighborhood. As for 10 units without parking, this is a major problem. To assume none of these tenants will have vehicles or visitors is unrealistic, on top of which, when the plows come by in the winter and cars are parked on the road, it ends up with those big, massive humps of snow and ice, making it more difficult for our vehicles to get down. Because people are parked on the roads, and there's nowhere to shovel snow when the setbacks are reduced. Even if you don't have a driveway, you're still going to have a pathway up to the door. Reduced setbacks also mean during construction, many vehicles, construction vehicles and others end up being parked on our road instead of being placed on the construction site. This creates dangerous traffic situations for many children walking to and from school. We have a lot of dog walkers and just vehicle sightlines. So I request that this property not be allowed to expand its variances. If this is a like if we have this as one of our bylaws, we need to hold fast on these things, not just for this property, for all the properties throughout the city. Again, we can intensify without making our neighborhoods undesirable in the long run. I think that is the sentiment in our neighborhood. I know I'm the only one, except for the gentleman before, and I know the fellow who owns 104 as well. But we would just like to see that this be done with the care of the community of tomorrow and not just a quick turnaround for today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Estabrooks, for your delegation. Is there anyone else online who wants to speak to this application? No, there's no one?
No one, Mr.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Edwards, do you have any comments in response to these issues of concern, such as parking, green space, hotspots?
Yes, so with respect to parking, the R4 UD zone does not permit parking on lots that are under 450 square meters. So that's a bylaw requirement as to why we're not providing parking. Not providing parking does allow us for more opportunities to provide trees, green space, and meet the landscape area. In terms of the site, 8 units is currently permitted and a building permit has been received for that building. My client is committed to working with the neighborhood via the engagement and the community center. They've already had discussions with surrounding property owners and will continue to work with those property owners and follow the requirements for the building permit through building code services as well.
Thank you. Any questions from panel members? Yes. Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Just a question for the applicant, just for clarification. So there's no, from what you have building a permit approval for, nothing is changing to the building. It's just because it's 10 units, this is triggering a change in what the lot width and would be. But otherwise, if you kept it at 8 units, this would go ahead, this would be part of bylaw. This would be already moving forward. Is that correct?
Through the chair, that is correct. Currently, as it stands, the 8 unit does have a building permit. The way the zoning is written is that low-rise apartments for 8 or fewer have different lot area and frontage requirements. That is actually going away in the final draft. I know the zoning of the final draft is not approved. However, this would be permitted as of right under the final draft, which is proposed as it is, as the lot area and maximum number of units has been removed. So the new lot area in the N4B, which it's proposed to be translated to, is less is 7.5 meters. I know that's not applicable to this application as it has not been approved by council, but it's just something to note. So as it stands, the variance is actually only for the lot area and frontage, and it only is because the bylaw breaks down low-rise apartments as 8 units or fewer and 9 units or greater in terms of the lot area and frontage.
And just as a quick follow-up, can you tell me about the any research you did on needs of what the community is in terms of how you decided what to build? You know, you went and decided to do a apartment building. So presumably you put some kind of research into deciding that. If you could just maybe tell us a bit about that, that'd be helpful.
Through the chair, I'm representing my client who would have looked at needs. From what I understand, you know, he has done a need assessment on ensuring that these are rented or viable. The area is on transit and is located in close proximity to a lot of neighborhood amenities. It will be clear to future tenants that there will be no parking provided and that it would be not part of the rental agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Thank you. Thank you both, Ms. Estabrook and Ms. Edwards. I believe that we'll reserve decision on this, and you'll get the decision within 10 days.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to item 5, and I will hand over the chair to Member Blatherwick. Yes, sir. Oh, we're done? That's it? Okay, sorry. I guess with that, thank you everyone, and we're adjourned.